What's up, Devoted fam? So on this first video, I want to cover the biggest question that I get asked all the time. If I want to follow Santissima, where do I start? How do I know she'll accept me? What do I do? What am I getting into? Well, a lot of people will just tell you, go research it. But that honestly isn't much of a help, is it? So I'm going to start from video one and continuously make videos down, and I'm going to try and remember the whole path that I had with her and explain things a video at a time so that it can help prepare you to decide if this is the right choice for you or if it isn't right for you. Now, the first thing you want to ask yourself, and one of the most critical things to think about, is time. Do you have the time? If you have the time, then it is awesome. You can do a lot with her. But if you don't have the time and your life is chaotic and you barely have time to wipe your ass, then that is when you need to ask yourself, is this the right, path to take? Because with Santissima, she requires your attention. She requires you to maintenance her area, clean her altar. She requires you to clean her, spiritually. And she requires you to spend time with her and, periodically do prayer with her. And if you lack the time to do anything of that sort, then maybe, this devotion path is not the right path for you. I have heard far too many people tell me that they abandoned their Santissimas because they don't have time, or they didn't think it was going to be this much maintenance, or it's like, the one I've heard that's upset me a little bit. It's like taking care of a child. No, it's not. It's about a fair exchange of time, effort, and energy. So it's always good to ask yourself, am I going to be able to commit? And you need to understand as well, when you start a relationship with her and you devote to her and you go all out with it and get her a statue, you set up her altar, you do all of that good stuff, and then later decide, I just don't have time for this. Yeah, it's usually not going to be good for you. And it is very disrespectful to her because she's not a toy, she's not a hobby, she's not a plaything, she is a goddess. And a lot of people will argue with me and say, she's not a goddess, she's a saint. Well, that's fine. I'm not going to get into that. I see her as a goddess, and that is me. Space is very, 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 very important. If you don't have it, you don't have a spot to honor her. You don't have a spot to devote to her. And if you're going to put her anywhere, I always suggest near a window. She loves the moonlight. She loves the sunlight. Anywhere but a closet or a bathroom. And I have done both. And she wasn't very pleased with the closet, but she understood the reason that I had to put her in there at that time. Because, we had some really, really bad maintenance people. And they were always known for stealing stuff. And I used to put money on her altar all the time. So that was a risk I wasn't willing to take. But on to other things. If you don't have the space, then it's probably not a good idea to set up an altar space. Now, don't get me wrong. You could put together a little shelf, a little cubby in a wall, a small little table to start off with. You don't need nothing gigantic and extravagant to start with. I've seen some beautiful altars with just one statue, a small little vase with a few flowers, a candle, and her food and all that good stuff. You don't have to go too crazy with it at the beginning. Now, throughout time, you can move to a bigger place or decide to give up a space for her that's larger and, build on your altar and add to it little at a time. Now, moving on to offerings, statues, and all that stuff. When you're first starting out, I would suggest that you use a prayer card, a candle with her image on it, or a small, picture of any sort. This is a good way to start without going into a full commitment. And you need to make it clear when you're communicating with her that you're trying to feel out her energy. You're trying to see how she resonates with you, because she is not for everyone. It's really hard to explain that nowadays because she's real trendy right now. A lot of people know about her more than they did before. and want to devote, but they don't understand what comes with it. There is always going to be work in any kind of devotion. And for any reason, if you feel like this isn't for you, it's okay because you didn't devote completely to her. You didn't raise an altar to honor her. Now, when you go through all of that, you're in. And if you are going to back out and sell her statues off or give her away, which is the recommended thing to do, give her to another devotee that's going to care for her. But in the same point of view, for me, it's still disrespectful because it's kind of like getting a cat or a dog or a pet and then being like, this is too much, so I'm just going to throw her in the trash or throw him in the trash. That's not what you do. So moving on, the next thing you need to consider is who lives with you or who do you live with? If you live with a parent that is super religious and if they find out you are devoting to her, they're going to scold you, ground you, and throw away her statue and say it's evil, then don't get a Santissima statue. Please don't. Save the trouble. Because I hear it so many times of parents breaking statues or spouses or brothers or roommates breaking statues and just putting her in that situation to me is just, it's not cool. It's not acceptable. So kind of know your surroundings. Even if you have to talk to the person that you're living with or that's living with you about it, that is the best way to go about it. Because you don't want to put her in that situation where she's going to end up broken or in the trash because they were surprised that you just erected an altar in their house. Now, some people will go above and beyond and just do it privately. And that is where I would recommend, if you're ready to devote, I would recommend a portable altar or praying to her image, like on a rosary or a small idol you can keep in your pocket or your purse or whatever, or just build her a little shoebox altar. She is very understanding when it comes to that stuff. She knows what you can do and what you're capable of, and she knows what you are not capable of taking care of at the moment. So, for example, if you are making $5,000 a week and you give her, a cookie on her altar with a tea light candle, she's gonna feel cheated. But if you are, let's say, doing really bad and you can't afford a lot, you're barely eating, and you bring her two or three dozens of roses, she doesn't expect that from you because she doesn't want you to go without just to give her an offering. She wants you to give her an offering, that is suitable to your current situation. So offerings are also very important to take into consideration because you do need to make them. They could be as small as, like I said, a piece of bread, a cookie, a soda, a beer, a shot of tequila or whatever, to as large as extravagant, expensive roses or a new statue or decorations or knickknacks that you can put on her altar that represent her, like owls or, anything like that. Flowers, plants, all of that good stuff. You can give her these things through time, and that is where your altar will start to grow. And before you know it, your altar will be ginormous. And you're going to be like, where did I get all this stuff? And how did it get this big? And then people will look at it and they'll admire it because to them, it's the first time they're seeing it. But to you, you see it every day and you've watched it grow through time. So it is not something that needs to be rushed. I know everybody that starts out, people that I've coached will be like, you know what? That's it. I'm spending $1,000. I'm buying her a table. I'm getting her these cool lights. I'm getting her a tapestry. I'm getting her this. I'm getting her that. I'm getting her LEDs. I'm getting her this cauldron. And that's cool if you want to do that. But you do not have to. That is not a must at the beginning. Now, one of the biggest things that people do incorrectly when beginning a relationship with her is going into it with greedy intentions. I want this, so I want the love of my life, so I'm going to get a red statue. Or I want a bunch of money, so I'm going to get the gold statue. Or I want this, or I want that, or I want to destroy this person, so I'm going to get the black statue. That is not how you start a relationship with death. You don't do that. Because although you may not speak it out, she will still know your true intentions. But she will play along with you and see if you decide to change up and, do the right thing. Now, let's say that you already have your mind made up about, devoting to her. Then you need to still go into this devotion with genuine intentions. And what I mean by this is the biggest mistake that I even made myself was asking her for things far too early. Now, I understand we go through tough times and we're looking for somebody to answer our prayers, somebody to answer our requests, help us when we're down. And she will do all of this. But you need to build a relationship first. It's kind of like, for example, meeting a new friend, and the first thing you do when you guys hang out is ask him for $2,000. Hey, can I borrow some money? And your friend's gonna think, well, fuck, we just met. You're asking me for this money? So it's kind of like that. They're going to feel used, and she will as well. And she will know, and she'll either go silent on you or teach you a lesson. And that will be discussed in another video, how that works. So, my advice to you when you're starting a relationship, a new one, and you're deciding, okay, I'm ready to devote to her, then you need to really be ready for it. You need to go into it only wanting love and protection and offering her the same thing back in return. And a lot of people will say it's a give and take relationship, which it can be. But for example, for me, when I decided to just kind of let her take care of things, I stopped doing petitions. I stopped asking her for stuff. I stopped asking her to manifest things because she already knows. And she will decide herself if what you're asking for is going to benefit you or hurt you in the long run or keep you from learning a particular lesson that she's trying to teach you. And some people will take this as her going silent on them or not listening to them, and they will get upset about it. But it takes time to build this relationship. So if you're in a hurry, you're in a rush to see results really quick, hire a practitioner. Hire yourself a witch. Hire yourself somebody that can bend will and make things happen for you. Because with Santissima, the first thing that should be on your mind is a relationship, a solid foundation between you two, an understanding, and a learning experience. Because a lot of people will buy, they'll buy the black statue because they want to be a powerful witch and they want to do workings with her. They want to work through her. And that is totally possible because I know somebody that does that. But it took this person multiple years of devotion. This person had been devoted at least probably about 6 years, 7 years before they even attempted to do something like that. And if you're going to just use her like a tool, then she is not the one for you. And that is cold hard facts. And that is how you need to go into this because, like I said, she will know what your intentions are. So when you first get her and bring her home, the first thing you need to do is welcome her. Cook her some food, talk to her, tell her about you, explain who you are, tell her why you're, devoting to her. You want to make sure to share your energy with her because any energy for her is good energy. Whether you're crying at her altar, you're laughing, you're sharing a victory with her, you're excited, even if you're sad, depressed, or anything like that, it is still giving her energy to manifest things for you. So hopefully this covered a good amount of questions that people will have when they're first starting. And if you have any particular questions that you want answered, you can always hit me up on IG. You can always drop a comment. You can hit me up and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I really appreciate everybody that is already supporting the channel. I know it's baby stages right now and things got to grow and all that good stuff, but I really appreciate everybody sitting through this, long lecture, to learn. But that will be it for this video. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, follow me on IG, follow me on TikTok, click the bell, and like and subscribe. Thank you all and have a great day.